Baltimore City State Attorney Marilyn Mosby has been indicted on several charges. Leonardo Feldman joins us now live from Miami with the latest on that and the Florida connection to this story. Hey, Leo.
Hey, John, that's right. Well, another Democrat loves Florida a little too much. We know that the top prosecutor for Baltimore City, Marilyn Mosby, has been indicted on several charges, including perjury and making false statements on loan applications in connection to the purchase of two vacation homes here in the Sunshine State. Mosby allegedly withdrew almost $100,000 from her city's retirement account after citing financial hardships due to COVID. But the indictment says she was earning a gross annual salary of almost $250,000 and that her paycheck was never reduced. The documents state the following. On May 29, 2020, Mosby received an electronic funds transfer in the amount of $36,000 in her Bank of America account. It later says that Mosby used the withdrawal toward a down payment for a vacation home in Kissimmee, Florida, she purchased in September 2020. These are some images of that house that, according to the Baltimore Sun, she sold for a $150,000 profit in November of 2021. In another withdrawal, prosecutors say Mosby received $45,000 that she used for a down payment on the second home in Longboat Key. And meanwhile, Mosby's attorney says that she is completely innocent and that the charges are bogus. But it is important to point out that she was the prosecutor in the Freddie Gray case. And we know that VP Harris has praised her a few times, and in one case she said that she is always right. So let's see what happens if she reacts to this story now. Back to you.
Yeah, Leo, we covered this story last year in May. We'll talk more about it here with our panel in a second. But yes, this is an attorney, a prosecutor who should know better, and now she's in a bit of trouble. Great to see you. Leonardo Feldman for us live in Miami. All right, let's welcome in our panel now. Former Trump campaign foreign policy advisor and Newsmax contributor George Papadopoulos. Also back with us, Turning Point USA contributor Erin Elmore, and Matthew Foldi from the Washington Free Beacon joining us as well. You guys, back in May of last year, we talked about this because Federal Communications Commissioner at the time, Brendan Carr, had got a letter from Marilyn Mosby. She was actually complaining, Matthew, about the negative media coverage in her hometown of Baltimore about this story. You know, she's got some nerve, right? Complaining about it first, buying a vacation home in Florida. She's like a lot of people. She's rushing from the fire that she started in Baltimore to try and get to the free state of Florida.
Look, every Democrat wants to move to Florida, it seems like. So, you know, we have AOC obviously there. We have Marilyn Mosby trying to abandon Maryland there. But I think this gets at the larger problem of Soros prosecutors in America getting wrapped up in a litany of crimes. I think the most infamous one is Kim Foxx with Jussie Smollett in Cook County, Illinois. But Marilyn Mosby, Kim Foxx, Larry Krasner, George Gascon, all of these Soros prosecutors are responsible in large part for the massive uptick in crime that we're seeing across the country, because they've decided that rather than being prosecutors, they are actually criminal defense attorneys. So criminals actually are represented by both the prosecutors and by their own criminal defense attorney. So it's not a surprise to see that she's corrupt. Obviously, Baltimore has a storied history of corruption. And it's also not a surprise to see that, like other Democrats, in her free time, she cannot wait to escape the problems that she's caused and go to Florida.
I know. You always wonder what the neighbors are thinking when down in Florida when one of these folks moves into their community. Erin, your take on all this? I mean, you're an attorney. You know, Marilyn Mosby is a prosecutor here. This is big trouble for her.
It is big trouble, but I wonder how honest the prosecution will be of her. You know, we see these Democrats get away with absolute murder. We see that there are two standards of justice, one if you're conservative and one if you're liberal. And because of her position, these people do often get away with these crimes. Baltimore has a very long history of political corruption. 12 mayors, 12 have resigned in disgrace because of their crimes. So this is not a surprise to anyone. And we've seen candidates like Kim Klacik, who ran as a Republican and thought she'd be great for the city, and many agreed, yet she, didn't really scratch the surface of the vote. And it's these people really have to, as their community, they come together and say, we want better, we deserve better, we have to change the way that we vote in order to have change in these big cities like Baltimore.
Yeah, well, we reached out to her last year and asked her about this tax issue, and she responded in a tweet, said, quote, like millions of Americans, we owe taxes and it's been paid. That apparently is not the case. We also learned last year, George, that she claimed $30,000 in travel expenses over 2018 and 2019 coming down to Florida, I guess to scout out real estate. None of this looks good for Marilyn Mosby.
Let's look at the bigger picture here, including the potentially illegal behavior of her, because she has pleaded apparently non-guilty, so let's give her the presumption of innocence for the moment. But the Democrats have gone out of their way, along with the mainstream media, to basically lambaste Governor DeSantis for two reasons. And this goes into Florida and why I think Florida is such an attractive state for so many of these Democrat politicians who want to escape the despair and the destitute situation that they've left both their states and many of their cities in. It's not only because Governor DeSantis is the presumptive GOP nominee should Donald Trump not run according to all the relevant polling, but because he does stand for the American ideal and values like personal responsibility, freedom of choice, and limited government. So when the Democrat politicians, especially potentially corrupt individuals like Baltimore's own, go down to Florida, take out fraudulent loans, lie under oath about what they're doing, similar to charges that Paul Manafort unfortunately got indicted for things that he did a decade ago. It really feeds the perception, fortunately, that Merrick Garland's DOJ is trying at least to showcase that they are trying to be nonpartisan in going after not only MAGA grandmas who might or might not have been involved in the January 6th event of last year and other crimes, but also high-profile Democrats like this. She is a Soros-connected prosecutor, similar to Kim Foxx. Kim Foxx in Chicago is also under investigation for potential crimes due to her cover-up during the Jussie Smollett case. So it's interesting.
There's definitely a trend here with all these. All right, we got a real quick topic to get to. I want to get everyone's response here in about 20 seconds or so. But there's an Illinois school district responding after a school Satan Club flyer started circulating, saying that there will be a meeting of a Satanist group at an elementary school. A local TV station there reporting the group, sponsored by the Satanic Temple, is set to meet at Jane Addams Elementary School in Moline, Illinois. The flyer says the club's activity will include science projects, puzzles, games, arts, crafts, projects, and nature activities. Are we okay, Erin, with a Satan Club meeting at an elementary school?
Yeah, I don't think that really checks out so well. As someone who works with Turning Point USA, and we are often kicked off campus or not allowed to engage in certain activities, but a Satanist club, totally okay? It's a little hypocritical, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, you hear about, like the Fellowship of Christian Athletes not being allowed to meet on certain school campuses sometimes. Matthew, a Satanist club, who green-lighted this? Or green-lit this, I should say.
Satan? I mean, look, Illinois schools should focus on reopening and teaching actual classes, right? Instead of putting satanic rituals in with kids. I mean, at a certain point in Illinois, they'll probably do these satanic classes on Zoom if they don't open their schools up. So I think Illinois should rather, teach kids actual learning materials and open schools rather than have satanic, exorcisms and whatnot in elementary schools. Yeah,
when you hear about nature projects with Satanists, George, what comes to mind? And keep in mind, this is a family-friendly show.
I'm just surprised that Governor Pritzker out of Illinois could actually maintain these schools remaining open, considering how overwhelming incompetent his reign has been as Illinois governor. So unfortunately, when I was in high school and elementary school, we could barely put together a study session after class. I guess kids are becoming a lot more industrious and organized in their abilities to potentially put together these very bizarre groups. But unfortunately, there is a two-tiered system here in which Christian groups are being condemned, and they're not even allowed to really organize in many high schools and elementary schools and even universities in the state of Illinois. Yet we do have this satanic club potentially emerging, and it's quite frankly shocking.